All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome. Big day. Make sure we're all good here. I think we're good. Morning, guys. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to Tuesday. Hope everyone had a good day yesterday. Yesterday was all right for me. What did I pull up? TradeZilla. Something I've been doing a little too often is running out of buying power. So I'm going to try my best to not do that today. There's been some decent later day opportunities that I usually end up running out of buying power for. Something I want to do a little bit better of preserving some buying power for some like 11, 12 o'clock trades. Yesterday was a good example of that. I operate on a cash account, so once I'm out of buying power, it's it, which I actually do enjoy quite a bit. It's a nice hard stop. If any of you guys out there trade with a cash account, you probably know what I'm talking about. Morning. CPI Lotto. No, I'm not going to use a margin account. Cash account's the way to go. All right. So today's CPI. Today is a very interesting day. It's definitely an important day. No, it's not T+2. It's T. It's the next day. It all T+1. Yeah, cash accounts definitely keep you from over trading. Once you finish your outstanding cash balance, then you're done for the day. You can't do anything else, right? Whatever you have at that point, it's over. And I think that has saved me a lot. If you have over trading problems, please, I recommend you switch to a cash account because it's great in that regard. I love everything about that. It's a very disciplined way to trade. Yeah, we can get into the whole benefits, and I have a video on my channel. It's a little old. I could probably update it. But yeah, basically why I brought that up is because yesterday I ran out of buying power pretty early. I took some larger trades. Did okay. Made about $350 yesterday. Small day, but could have caught some opportunities later on if I had a little bit more extra buying power there. But anyways, it's all good. All right, so today CPI, we don't really have a very I don't have a schedule for you today because pretty much from here to 8:30, we're just going to be watching the futures. We'll talk a little bit about the expectations of CPI. And then after CPI is released, we're going to look at everything. We're going to look at the dollar. We're going to look at the futures. We're going to look at individual stocks. We're going to get into everything. We're going to run through all the big tech names, any kind of setups that I'm watching, have been watching. So we're just going to do pretty much everything. If you guys have access to the ticker form, make sure to go and put some of your tickers in there so that we can look at those after CPI. But pretty much from here to 8:30, we're just going to do some futures analysis, get an idea of what happened yesterday, get an idea of what the expectations are, and that's pretty much it. So let's get started. Yeah, I mean, if there's a day to get 1,000 likes on the stream, it's got to be today, right? Today's got to be the day. So make sure to press that like button. Make sure, I was talking to the chat this morning, how many guys that lottoed, put their whole account on CPI today are going to have a little bit of a stressful night at dinner with their Valentine tonight. So don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't let today ruin your Valentine's Day dinner. Don't let your wife or girlfriend visibly know that something happened in the market today. So let's start with the ES. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday. So the ES, if we go out to the 4-hour chart, the ES held this pullback, this retest level that we were sort of watching here, this 40-50 level. You guys can see we moved back into that last week on Friday, and we just sort of held it yesterday. Yesterday was one of those. What we like to call it, those zombie grinds, right? The zombie upside, the low volume, right? Look at the volume here of yesterday's trading day. If I zoom into yesterday's trading day, you guys can see this was yesterday's volume. Yesterday's volume was pretty much half. I wouldn't say half, but about 3/4, sometimes even half of normal trading volume. There's obviously light days mixed in, but yesterday was a very low volume trading day, and we just sort of grinded higher pretty much the entire day, right? I'll go over here. We got this push in the morning. Pretty much, it looks pretty big here, but it was relatively slow if you were watching it intraday. Pretty much a slow grind to the upside and just sort of continued pretty much the entire day. You guys can see right here. A little bit of a pullback around 3:50, 4 o'clock. I'm sorry, 2:50, 3 o'clock, and then we just sort of pushed up once again. So pretty much that low volume grind all day yesterday heading into CPI. You can see that right here on the volume. Now, on the daily chart, right, I think what a lot of people are looking at here on the daily chart on the ES is this flag. I think a lot of people are sort of spotting this flag, right? You can clearly see it here. We pushed, we retested that 40-50, created this bull flag setup, right? You can see right here, created this little bull flag setup right now, and I think a lot of people are looking to trade this bull flag. Now, if today wasn't CPI, I'd have more confidence in, going long here, looking for that bull flag breakout, looking to see if I could catch that move. But I just can't take that technical setup seriously into a macroeconomic event, right? The CPI does not care that the market is flagging. The CPI does not care that, the market is in a bull flag setup. It just doesn't, right? It doesn't sit well with me to take that type of technical trade. If today wasn't CPI, I probably would already be in calls looking for that flag setup to work with a stop like under that 40-50, but it's not, this is when technicals can be invalidated, right? Technicals can be invalidated by macroeconomic news, and this could be a great example today. If this bull flag works out, then yeah, sure, I wouldn't say it's because it was a bull flag. I would say it's because CPI was lower than expected. The market pushed up off of it. If CPI is higher than expected, then this bull flag is not going to work. So I think a lot of people have been looking at this. I could clearly see it. It's a really nice looking flag, right? It's sexy looking to me. But I can't trust something like that heading into CPI. So here on the 4-hour chart, I think the most important thing for the bulls today, if we are to get a positive reaction here on CPI, is a push and hold above 4,200, right? A push and hold above this previous rejection point is going to be key for this move to really start to juice to the upside, right? To get a really nice upside move, I think you're going to want to see a very clean break of 42, a hold of 42, and then that could set up that next push. So that's something that I would be watching today, right? We'll look at this after CPI is released. But this 4,200 break is going to be pretty much the key for the upside move, right? We're going to need to see that 4,200 break. We're going to have to see if that holds. If 4,200 turns into a new support level, then that's going to be probably a pretty nice trade here for the upside. So that's the big thing I'm watching here. 4,200, right, on the ES. That's going to be the main upside level to be watching. To the downside, it's pretty clear. It's this 40.50 level, right? We've made this low at 40.50. We've had these previous highs at 40.50. So as of right now, you can clearly see this little channel that I think is going to be pretty influential here. You're either going to see that 4,200 break and hold, or if you get that 40.50 break, that could be, the downside move that we could see. If we stay within this 40.50 and 4,200 on CPI, pretty much nothing changes, right? Pretty much nothing changes, right? We have to make sure that we can get outside of this channel today to be confident on either direction, because inside this channel, you can see we've moved to the downside. We've hit this upside supply. We've held the downside demand. We've pretty much just been trading within this 4,200 to 40.50 level on the ES for, what is this now? It's just about 2 weeks. So today, hopefully we get that move outside of this, up either above 42 or below 40.50. That's really the main two levels that I'm watching, the upper and lower bands of this channel. That's really what I'm watching today on the ES. So that's I think, going to be the most important. Let's see what move this does make outside of this channel. I want to point out the key yesterday, one of the key moves from yesterday. And you guys remember, we were coming into yesterday talking about 410, right? If you were here on the live stream, you probably remember me saying, do not go long until we move above 410. And this couldn't have happened any cleaner yesterday. So here's the 1 minute chart on the SPY yesterday. And look at what 410 did. I mean, we were in the chat pretty much saying, hey, watch out for this 410 level. This is starting to hold. This could be bullish here. That is a pretty nice break and hold above 410 yesterday. This was our key level yesterday heading into yesterday's trading day. What a clean break and hold of 410 yesterday that set up that upside move. So, right, this is a great example of, yesterday was a great example of not going long here, right? In hindsight, of course, right? In hindsight, of course, if you took it long at the open, you'd have the largest percent gain on the day. But this is a great example of, if you are patient, right? Even if you miss out on this morning upside, if you really focus on the technical levels, you could still find that this is a more confirmation entry here. This is the entry that makes sense. The break and hold of 410, this is the long entry that makes sense rather than just playing upside into supply. Because this could have easily, right? It could have easily done this off of 410. And we don't want to be involved in that. So this was a very clean example yesterday of waiting for that technical level to break, waiting for that technical level to hold up. A lot of people probably felt like they would miss the move here, right? If you didn't catch longs here, you're probably like, oh man, I'm going to miss out on this. But there was no missing out, right? There was a very nice break and hold above 410. This is your confirmation. You could go along here on the break and hold of 410, and there's still plenty of upside to take advantage of, right? So that was a really nice little setup yesterday. The reason we talked about 410 yesterday is because of the previous lows right here, right? So here's your previous 410 low that we talked about, saying don't go long until we get above this level here, this 410. And you can see really nice break and hold of 410 yesterday, setting up that upside move. Just really clean stuff, right? Really clean stuff. There's no reason to be short at 410, right? There was never a reason to go short here. There was never a if you're up here at 410, right? Look at the price action at 410. You're gonna go short just on this green candle. You gotta wait, right? There was never really that signal to be short here. I'm sure I took some shorts in this area, and actually, individual stocks did move nicely there. Like, for example, Tesla here. Yesterday, I traded Tesla on this break and retest of 193, which we can get into in a second. But on the individual SPY, you never really got that short entry. It was really just this long above 410. So that's the SPY. We can go into the 4-hour chart real quick on the SPY. I think the key level is obviously going to be this 418. This is pretty much equal to that 4020 on the ES. Right, so you can see right here 418, and then it looks like it was around this previous low 404 is your channel. Right, so you can see, I'm going to zoom in here in a second. Here's your channel that's been formed on the ES, very similar to the on the SPY, very similar to the ES. You can see the bottom side of this channel is around 404, which is the previous high here, previous high here, previous high here. Right, that's going to be your important low that needs to break if you want to look bearish. Right, I would say you really want to see a break under 404 before really getting aggressive on the downside. That's these previous highs right here, and then the previous highs from here turning into a demand yesterday and on Friday at 404, and on the upside it's around this 418. Right, 418. If I go to the daily chart, you can see 418 rejections here, 418 rejection here, and then a 418 rejection in the short term. And of course, you can see that bull flag setting up on the SPY as well, which I think a lot of people are sort of spotting here, right? So you can see that same bull flag, which is setting up here on the SPY. So I would say 418 on the SPY to 404, that's your channel. And that's the same thing as the ES, right? 4,200 to 4050. Same exact channel that both of these are in. All right. So that's just preliminary analysis here. We're obviously going to look at everything again once CPI comes out here in about 15 minutes. Here's the NASDAQ. Sick retest. I'm not going to lie. I did not catch this retest. This was a nice one. I caught the previous retest hold last week, but I didn't catch this one. This was a really nice retest hold. So if I go to the 4-hour chart, you can see right here that 12,300 level that we were talking about. Really nice previous high here. Turned into a pretty decent demand yesterday. Could have caught a little something off that, all right, if I believed in this a little bit more. I was a little bit cautious yesterday going for this play because of CPI. Always like to be cautious the day before, not, get super aggressive. But this was a nice break and retest, right? Break, retest, 12.3. Break here of this high right here, right? You can see this previous high. We broke it. We sort of consolidated. We retested it. Long off the retest. Could have made yourself something there. That's pretty nice. And a pretty nice looking setup. So that was yesterday. On the 4-hour, we can now see the channel that needs to break on the NASDAQ. So here's the NASDAQ on the 4-hour. And we can clearly see the channel that we are in. We're between that 13,000, 12.8, which is the previous high, previous consolidation here, previous low here, previous rejection here. So that's clearly the supply above, and you can see that's where we rejected previously over the last 2 weeks. So that's our upside supply that needs to break. I would say if the NASDAQ can jump over 13,000, right, you can get a pretty nice, probably a pretty nice push here. If we can get a break and hold above 13K, that would be, I think, the ideal long entry, or like the serious upside move would be over 13,000. And then to the downside, you're looking at around 12.3. So it's about a 700-point range here on the NASDAQ, 13,000, 12.3. That's the range that we are currently trading in before CPI. We'll have to see, which side breaks here. This is, again, another bull flag setup on the NASDAQ, very similar to the ES. All right. We'll go to the Russell. The Russell did exactly what we talked about yesterday, the retest of these previous highs. This was pretty sick. Right, you guys can see right here. This is just a break and retest in all its glory on the Russell. Right here, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs. Very clear, right? Rejections, multiple rejections at this 1900, 1905 level. We broke it. We retested it, right? And you got a little bit of a push off it. I can't say that that's like a, we're going to continue to, through this rejection point. That's going to have to obviously become a move off CPI if CPI is bullish. But at least you saw how that break and retest worked yesterday, right? Break, retest, hold the previous supply, turn it into a demand, and you can see it pretty much right there on the Russell yesterday. Same thing, bull flag setup on the Russell. Does it break out? If it does, here's your channel that you're watching, right? 2020, 2020, right up in here on the Russell to around 1900, right? So about 120 point range here on the Russell. That's pretty much the range that you're going to be looking for a move outside of today, right? If it's really bullish, a move above the highs, hold above the previous highs, and then maybe you get that upside move. Or if we see if it's bearish here, break under 1900, and then you might see that downside continuation. Dow Jones, pretty much the same channel it's been in. A little bit of outperformance on the Dow actually yesterday. If you guys saw the Dow yesterday, it was pretty hot. Early morning, right? You can see this Dow was pretty strong yesterday. Nice outperformance on the Dow. If we go out to the 4 hour, you can see we've just been sitting in this channel. So very clear channel on the Dow. 34.6, 34.650, 33.6, right? Pretty clear. It's about 1,000 point range on the Dow that we've been trading in. Which side do we get? That's going to be what we have to watch, right? Which side do we get a move out of today? We could go. I think going over the Tesla trade from yesterday is pretty good. So let's do that real quick. I figured I'd show you guys why I took the Tesla trade that I did as we try to kill a little bit of time before CPI. We'll go over that trade, talk a little bit about it, and then we will. And then we'll probably see CPI here by the time I'm done. So, as you guys know, right, we're always watching previous day lows, right? You have to be watching previous day lows. There's probably nothing else. I mean, there's obviously other important things, but that is one of the most important things that I watch on an intraday basis. Where's the previous day low? If we're turning the previous day low into a rejection, I'm looking for downside. If we're holding the previous day low, is there a bounce off that level? So you guys can see this is Friday, or not previous. This is obviously Friday, but previous day, whether it's a Friday into a Monday or whether it's just a Tuesday or Monday, right? You're always watching the previous trading day low. Previous trading day low on Friday was 193. It was pretty much a beautiful little double bottom off 193, and that's where we pushed off of. Now, if we go into yesterday, you can see in the pre-market, we held that 193 again, and we bounced off of it. Intraday, you got that breakdown of the previous day low, and you got a quick push back to the upside. Look at how perfect this was at 193, right? Previous day low, pre-market low, break, retest. Here's where you set up your short entry, all right? You set up that short entry at the previous day low, turning it into a rejection. We took this short here in the chat. This was a very, very nice trade. Right, entries here set up a great risk reward. If you get back over, let's say you take a short entry here. Let's say the market does push back above previous day low, you get stopped out. All right, easy as that. But at least you have a plan. At least you know what you're playing off of. I'll go ahead and pull up. The trade in TradeZella. Here it is. So here's the trade in TradeZella. This was the trade I took. You guys can see right here, got about $360, about 6%, pretty much my average win rate, or my average winning percent, about 5. I told you guys on the last stream, about 5-10% is typically my average trade percentage win. Got in, you can see right here, at that 193, previous day low, got in some puts here, scaled some out, actually added a little more as this looked really good, and then started to scale out again. Tried another entry here, but then quickly it reversed on me, and I just jumped out of that. If I go down, you can see my first entry was at 944. I know this is a little bit small. 944 was my first entry with, looks like I got, about 7 contracts. Actually, I'm sorry. I took 2 and then added 3. No, it's one order, 5. But obviously, it shows it in 2 different things. You can see the time's the same, 944, 33 seconds. So 5 contracts there at 944.33, and 944 is right here. So I got in right here, looking for that break and retest of the previous day lows, and a really nice little trade setup there. All right. So just wanted to point that out. right? That was a pretty cool trade from yesterday. We caught that one live with the chat. Why is it rated a 2? I think it's just because I didn't adjust it. I didn't put any tags or profit target, stop loss, etc. in here. I can add in like the data here to get the R multiple, but I didn't get to do that yet. I usually go back and do this like end of week. So yeah, nice little trade there. Figured I'd share. That was a really nice setup from yesterday. I think it again just sort of highlights the break and retest, right? Break and retest of key levels. We broke below the previous day low. Let me get that again. We broke below the previous day low. We came back, we retested it, and we turned it into a really nice rejection for a nice little scalp there on Tesla. What's interesting, right? The rest of the day, look at what Tesla did the rest of the day, right? And you can see how influential this level really was. The rest of the day, we got back above 193, and we continued to hold above it, right? Look at this. Tesla just flatlined at 193 the entire rest of the day. It's pretty crazy to see that. Look at what Tesla did the rest of the day at that key level. Just instead of rejecting it, just held, and held pretty much the entire rest of the day. So very interesting. All right, we got about 5 minutes until CPI does get released. What else can we do in the meantime? Let's go take a look at the expectations here. This is a good time to get into some of the expectations. So here are your expectations for CPI. We got 5 minutes until it is released. If you guys could press that like button, that would be fantastic as we wait for this. So today, whoops, I did not mean to make that larger. I meant to make this larger. So today, here's your expectations. The previous CPI was 6.5%. The forecast was 6.5. So the previous CPI, we met the expectation, and that's why we got that positive reaction off of it. Again, right, if we meet expectations today, you should expect upside, right? You should expect upside. If we meet the expectation of 6.2, I would expect the market to move higher. Pretty much anything above 6.2, I think I saw some cases online, like JP Morgan's case and all these banks, all their different cases. 6.3 to 6.5, they're expecting a light downside move. Anything north of 6.5, they're expecting a pretty aggressive downside move. And then anything obviously below 6.2 is going to cause the market to move higher. So that's your forecast for today on CPI. This is not core. This is just normal CPI. 6.2% is the expectation. All right. If we pop in the month over month. Now, this one's interesting, the month over month. They are actually increasing the forecast for month over month. All right. Month over month is obviously the change every single month, which is a little bit of I think a better reading because you see like the actual changes month over month, the short-term trend. And you can see here, month over month, they actually popped that forecast up to 0.5. So they are expecting inflation to be increasing, CPI to increase month over month, which could be a little bit, could be sort of dovish for the market, I guess you could say. Probably not the right word to use there, but if they are expecting it to go up, if it does go up, then, it could be, there could be sort of helping out the market here a little bit. Because if they did not increase this forecast and it did come out at 0.5, then obviously we know things would look a little ugly. But they are forecasting for it to increase 0.5 month over month. So that is interesting, right? That was something interesting. You haven't seen that in quite some time for that forecast to increase. This was the last time the forecast increased. And it looks like it's increasing again. All right. So that's that one. Let's go ahead and pull up the core, right? This is X food and energy. If you guys know, core CPI, X food and energy. Forecast is 5.5. Last was 5.7. So they are forecasting a 0.2% drop. So that's core. And then if we pull up core month over month, go ahead and pop that in here. Sorry, guys. There we go. Core CPI month over month. They are expecting a 0.1 increase. All right. Last was 0.3. Forecast is 0.4. So pretty much, right, moral of the story is they are expecting month over month CPI to increase. They are expecting it to be higher month over month. They're expecting that month over month change to be positive. But they are still expecting the year over year number to come down. All right. So just that's your forecasts here. Figured I'd share that with you so that we can all get an idea of what the forecasts are. We'll obviously look at those again once CPI does become released. That's going to be in about 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. So let's pull up the ES here. The ES is pushing higher into the event, which is sort of interesting to see. So here we go. 30-minute chart. We're going to get a nice zoomed out picture here. 4,200, 40.50. That's the channel. And we got about 30 seconds. So press the like button. We almost had about 2,000 people here. If you guys could press the like button for me, get 1,000 likes on this stream today, that would be awesome. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Longest minute of your life. So I'm going to pull up the options chat. Okay. Obviously, first move looks red. What are the numbers? Let's get the numbers. Let me pull up the 6.4. Okay. I'm going to update these websites. Wait till they give us the new reading. There we go. All right, we got it. All right, so CPI year over year, 6.4 versus 6.2 forecast. So it is higher than the forecast, right? That is the first time since October of last year that the forecast increased, or that it increased versus the forecast. So forecast was 6.2, actual was 6.4. So slightly higher, nothing outrageous, which I think is why you're not seeing that large of a reaction to the downside here. You're really not seeing anything major on the market to the downside as of right now. So you can see 6.4 versus 6.2, a little bit of downside for now, but nothing that outrageous, right? Nothing that I think is that influential at the moment. So that's that. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Month over month was about the same as forecast. So forecast was 0.4. Oh, this is core. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and pull up. Let me pull this up. I don't want to get into core yet. Let me refresh this. Okay, so they were spot on with their forecast of the month-over-month increase. So core CPI month-over-month, 0.5 versus 0.5. So they were pretty much spot on with that forecast. If they didn't increase this forecast, I think you probably would have seen some downside. 0.5 versus 0.5 forecast, so it did increase the month-over-month number. All right, let's pull up the core. Here's core. Let me go year over year. So here's your core CPI number year over year, 5.6 versus 5.5, so a slight increase. Market's actually reversing now to the upside. And then core CPI month over month, 0.4 versus 0.4. So month over month numbers came in as expected. The year over year numbers came in slightly higher. Slightly higher on the year over years as expected on the month over month. All right. And it looks like the market is reacting positively to that. As of right now, you're getting a nice push to the upside. 4,200 is going to be that level. The SPY 418 level. I would be here. Here's my initial thoughts already, right? My initial thoughts already, just as this first releases, is now that you are trading up here at this supply, you cannot expose yourself going long here before you break 4,200 on this ES. You can't do it. If you go long here before 4,200 breaks, you are exposing yourself to that nasty move, right? We all know what the market can do. We've all seen it. If you are trading this market, you know what the market can do. You know what the second move could be. You know what the rejections can look like post-economic news. If you go long before 4,200 breaks today, you're going to potentially expose yourself to something very nasty. So what would original thoughts, as is, right? This is all live. My original thoughts of looking at this move right now is I have to wait for 4,200 to break, right? I have to be waiting. To go long here, I have to wait for 4,200 to break. And I have to see 4,200 turn into a support. Because where is the risk reward going long into this supply, right? Where's the risk reward there? That is a totally inverse risk reward going long into this supply. So that's my original thought, just as, right, bringing up these thoughts as I'm looking at this. There is absolutely no way in hell any type of smart trader with a good risk reward around their trading would go long into this supply before a break and hold over 4,200, right? That's going to be the key today. So if you do see upside continuation today, 4,200 break and retest is what you're looking for. All right, that's my original thought there. NASDAQ barely moved. Pretty much a sideways here on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's nowhere near supply. It's nowhere near demand. It's pretty much stuck in no man's land here. So really nothing there on the NASDAQ as of yet, right? Pretty much nothing there on the NASDAQ as of yet. Right in the middle. Literally right in the middle. So not much there in the NQ. On the ES, it makes a little bit more sense, right? Up here at 4,200 supply, got to watch out for that, right? Got to watch out for that. Can't go long until that breaks if we do get that upside continuation today, all right? So we'll keep an eye on this. What was the question? What was the reason for the market to go up? Guys, you can't make reasons for these things, right? This is the market's going up because of CPI, right? We're not going to try to. If you try to, this is right. This is a 1 minute chart, right, guys? It's a 1 minute chart. It's all algorithmic. If you try to reason why the market went down, went up, went back down, you're going to drive yourself absolutely insane. Just watch what happens, right? It's algorithmic trading right now. This is the 1 minute chart. This means absolutely nothing. What happens intraday today? Do we break key levels? Do we hold key levels? What happens in between this zone means absolutely nothing, right? This does not matter. What happens in between this red and green area it means nothing to you. If the market actually has a strong move, holds above 4,200, then then there's meaning to it. If the market breaks 40.50, holds below the previous demand, turns it into a rejection, then there's meaning to this, right? But 1 minute chart movement, algorithmic trading here after CPI means absolutely nothing. Do not get yourself worked up over these small moves here. This is really nothing. Right? This is really nothing. All right, so let's jump into some individual stocks. Keep me updated here, guys. If you see anything get crazy, I'll pop over to the ES, the SPY, if anything gets wild over here. But as of right now, it's a non-event. As of right now, it's a non-event. So it's going to be all about that intraday. And that makes it a little bit more difficult for you because you got to be real disciplined intraday today. All right. So Tesla, what is Tesla doing as we speak on CPI? You guys can see it is once again rejecting that upside supply. So you can clearly see here, rejections, triple top, rejection on yesterday, and then again, rejection here pre-market in CPI. You cannot go long Tesla until you get, I think, over 200, right? I think you need to see how 200 acts again before going long on Tesla. I think that would give you a little bit more confidence to see if Tesla can get over 200. If Tesla is not over 200, right, you can clearly see all the supply up here that you do not want to be messing with. Rejection, 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 and rejection. So watch out for that. I think Tesla, for me personally, obviously it depends on the market. I think Tesla needs to retest 180. I think it's been waiting to do this, right? I think Tesla needs to come back to 180. I think it needs to retest this 180, and then I would be more confident to long this again. But up here, as it sits up here, I'm really not confident on longs because you got that 200 supply that keeps stepping up. I would want to see this retest of 180 on Tesla. That's really what I'd like to see. Previous highs here, we broke it. We never retested it. So I'd like to see that 180 pullback on Tesla. Try to go long off that 180 level. Or obviously, if the market gets weak today, look to short Tesla using that 200 as a stop loss for that downside risk reward. So Tesla 200, 180. I'd like to see it retest 180 here. That's definitely something I'm looking for. All right, let's check out on NVIDIA. Let's see what's going on over here on NVIDIA. NVIDIA made a pretty interesting move yesterday, actually. As you guys know, NVIDIA has been a beast of a stock. NVIDIA got back above this supply here, right around this 216, 217 level. We got above it, we held it, and we're still holding above it today. So what I would watch on NVIDIA today is what happens at this 216, right? You can clearly see the previous rejections here around 216. All these previous, this little quadruple top, rejection, 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 rejection. We got above it, we held above it, and we're trading above it now. So I would say today, your key is to see what happens at NVIDIA 216. If NVIDIA falls back below that 216, I could see things unraveling on NVIDIA, right? If you get back under 216, this is yesterday's support. I would look for NVIDIA 216, all right? Keep an eye on that. If you get back under 216, I think you could potentially be setting up maybe a little bit of a head and shoulder here potentially. I still want to see NVIDIA back at 206. I still want to see NVIDIA back at 206 right here. Previous highs, retest here. I think it would make sense to see NVIDIA back here at 206, which you guys could see would set up a little bit of a head and shoulder formation. So watching 216, if 216 turns into a rejection today, I'd be aiming for that downside. If you hold 216, maybe there's a turnaround, but it looks like you're breaking down right now. Let's jump over to the ES and see what's going on here. All right, so you're pretty much back down to the lows of that CPI move. On the NASDAQ, yeah, same thing, down to the lows of the CPI move. Let me know if that breaks the lows there, guys. All right, Apple. Apple sort of suspended here still. Really not that big of a move on Apple. Really don't see much here on Apple. Apple got back above that 151, 152. I would just watch this again, really. I would just watch this again. Does Apple break this support, right? Previous highs into support. I'm actually going to turn this green because it is now acting as a demand now. Right there. Does Apple hold above this 151, 152, right? Previous lows here, previous low right here. If you come back down to it, is there a demand bounce? If you lose it, all right, does it turn into a rejection? That's really what I'd watch on Apple. Really don't like anything on Apple here until 150, 150, 151. ES futures, yeah, the SPX it's not, look, it's gappy. I wouldn't be monitoring the SPX. The ES futures are the place to get, I think, the best reading on the market for me personally. And Dreamliner, thank you for the donation, $9.99. Appreciate that, man. I like ES better. I think it's more fluid. Moves are more fluid. Charts look better to me, right? I don't like the SPX has gaps. You could look at the gaps on SPX, right? But I like the ES futures. Very fluid. Trades 24, 24.5, 24.6, I guess you could say. So I like ES. All right, so we went Apple, we went Tesla, we went NVIDIA. Let's take a look at AMD. What's AMD doing at 83 today? Yeah, AMD 83 is going to be very key here today. So you guys know we talked about that 83 rejection level yesterday. Previous lows here, previous lows here, previous rejection here on Friday of last week, and we got above that 83 level yesterday. We got above it and we held above it. You can see right here. We got above that 83 and we held above that 83. So today, I would say watch for 83 on AMD. If we reject 83, if the market is weak and we stay under 83, I would look for that downside again on AMD. Now, the reason for that is because 83 is a previous low here. All right, so you can see right here, 83 here, 83 here, and 83 right here. If AMD loses 83, I would look for that downside move again. If AMD maintains 83, if the market does bounce today, I would look for us to bounce off 83. I would look at AMD off 83 either way here today. Watch out for that 83. I think there's not, right, under 83, there really isn't much support here. You can see support did step up around that 81 level, so you can watch out for that. But I would say I would like to see AMD, if I go to the 4-hour chart, I would really like to see AMD, which I think it's on its way to this level. I would like to see AMD retest these previous highs, right? Right here, right here. I think it makes a lot of sense for AMD to push and for it to retest 80 or retest this 79 level. So that's something I will be looking at. If we lose 83, I would like to trade AMD back to that 79 retest level, right? This previous double top right here. So keeping an eye on that one today. Let's go Google, because Google's been a weak name, and Google just continues to trade underneath. This is actually a really nice looking chart, to be honest. Look at what Google's been doing. And you can see previous lows, previous lows. Look at what Google's been doing here. It's just been stuck under this 96 level. And it got stuck below it again yesterday. So previous low, rejection, rejection. It just can't get back above this previous low. That's bearish, right? You're making a new low and you're staying below the previous lows. You're turning the previous lows into rejections. Google's obviously been a very bearish name. If I zoom out here, I think that Google, if the market does sort of give up a little bit today, Google should probably trade back into this zone here, back to the 93s, 91s. As long as it stays below 96, I say you have a chance back to that 93, 91 zone, this zone right here, as long as it stays under that 96. Right? You got to stay under that 96 on Google. If Google can reclaim 96 and the market does push to the upside, right, then you might be able to get that upside push. You might be able to get a little bit of a squeeze, because you know that there are a ton of shorts that are piling up here in this 96 area, right? You definitely know that there are a lot of shorts that have piled up here with their stops over like this 96, 96.50. If Google does squeeze over this 96, there could definitely be a little bit of a short squeeze for some upside move. So I would watch this both ways. Watch that 96. If it rejects, look for that 93, 91. If you get a squeeze over 96, if the market is cooperating, you might be able to get something. All right, let's go Microsoft, because Microsoft's been a really strong one. Microsoft's been a beast. So Microsoft got back above, I think it's just getting strength from that AI, the whole AI thing going on. It got back above that 265. So I'm going to go ahead and put a demand zone here. 265, let me get some more time here. Daily chart. 1 second. So I'm looking at like these previous highs right here around this 275. It looks like that's where Microsoft's sort of rejecting here, right around this 275. You can see this previous high right here, 275. It was also this little neckline on the head and shoulder over here where we eventually broke down at 275. And then you can see we're sort of getting stuck at that 275 again here on Microsoft. So I think it's a little bit tough to go long Microsoft here until you get a break over 275. I'd say you want to see like a 275, 276 break and hold above to go long. And then to go short, I think you need to get this thing back below 265. So right now, I don't really like anything here on Microsoft. You can maybe look for this triple top rejection here on Microsoft. If the market is weak, you can maybe look to see if this supply steps in again. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Does it step in again today? You could look for that. But Microsoft's been a little bit strong, so I'd be careful on that mindset. I'm in a Microsoft put swing that I'm going to lose money on. I told you guys that yesterday. I took profits on my Tesla, and I covered that loss with I covered this Microsoft loss with that Tesla swing trade. So Microsoft, a little bit strong. AI has been strong. It's sort of been getting that little AI squeeze. So 275 to 265 is the range that I would watch here on Microsoft. All right. What else we got here? Let's look at Meta, because Meta's been interesting back at that 180. Does Meta hold above 180 today? That's going to be something I'm definitely watching. So I'm going to put this line at 180. Put my little zone there. Does Meta maintain 180 today? Let's go to see what it's doing now. Right now, it's just sort of trading around that 180. Sort of holding it right now, actually. So does Meta hold that 180? If it does, if Meta does hold that 180, get the hourly chart here. I would say this 183, 184 zone is possible. Right around this 183, these previous lows here. That's what I'd be watching on Meta. If Meta does lose 180 again, then I would look for that downside once again. 180 is a pretty influential level on Meta here today. 180, 183, previous lows, previous support here. Looks like it's undecided. It's very undecided right here, Meta. But I would watch 180, 183. The reason why Meta held here at 173 is because of this retest, which actually could be, right, a nice bullish catalyst if the market does push higher. So I'm going to delete that for now. But if the market is strong today, let's say the market does push above, let's say the ES gets above 4,200 today or this week, right? This is actually a pretty decent bullish retest on Meta. This was a reason why I removed most of my Meta swing trade. I was originally looking for this major gap fill, but I was a little concerned of these lows, or these previous highs, right? Previous high. Look at all this. All these previous highs on Meta around that 173 level. It's actually turning into a little bit of a potential retest hold. So if the market is strong, right, Meta could be a little bit of a hold of that 173 level. So that is something to watch for here on Meta. Previous channel highs turning into a support right now. It's actually quite interesting. Something I will be watching. All right, we went over AMD, NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft, Tesla. We can go over SHOP real quick because SHOP's getting close to that 50 again. So you guys can see right here, SHOP's getting close to that 50. I think that could be a nice level to watch today, 50. Nice 50 psych level. See what happens there today on SHOP. I'd keep an eye on that one. Amazon actually is something I wanted to look at because Amazon is back over this previous rejection point. So yesterday, Amazon got back over. Let me get that 90. Let me get this all cleaned up for you. It's right around this 98.50 zone is what I was watching. This was, let me go ahead and zoom in here. Yeah, you can see it right here. So if I go down to the 30-minute, you can see it a little bit more clearly. 98.50, this zone right here, I think is pretty important on Amazon. So why do I say that? Right? Here's why. Previous double bottom lows from Tuesday of last week, previous low from Wednesday of last week, previous high from Friday of last week, and then look at what it did yesterday, right? It broke it and it held it, right? So in my opinion, this 98.50 zone on Amazon is influential, right? This is influential here on Amazon. So what I would look for today is, does Amazon hold 98.50? Does the market recover? Or does Amazon lose 98.50? If Amazon does lose back below 98.50, right, you could see a move like we saw here on Friday, right? This push, this rejection, this downside, right? That's what I would be watching on Amazon today. 98.50, still I think a very key level to be monitoring. Look for that either demand hold or look for that downside move below 98.50. All right. Ebo, thank you. 20 euros. Get that like button at 1,000 likes. Thank you, man. 1,000 likes. We need 200 more likes. All right, so Amazon. We went over Amazon. We went over Apple. Apple's really not doing much here. We went over Tesla. I think you stay true to that 198, 200 level, right? Very clear supply above there. NVIDIA 216, I think, is your key level today, guys. Previous highs here, holding that support at 216. Those are, we went over Google. We went over Amazon. Let's go over Netflix real quick. Yeah, Netflix, nothing there. We'll go over the dollar real quick. What'd the dollar do? Okay, so the dollar is potentially breaking back below that 103, right? You can see right here. The dollar potentially breaking back over that under that 103 level. That's going to be key, I think, today. Make sure to watch this dollar today. Does the dollar maintain this little previous high here? It's been trying to hold this 103 level. Does the dollar hold here? I think that's going to be pretty key today, actually. Does the dollar hold above 103? Can it get back above 103? If it does, you might see some weakness. If it stays below 103, you might see that strength on the market. But yeah, that's what I'd be watching in the dollar. 103, I think, is that key level today. You can see right here, support 103, support 103, support 103, support 103, right? And can you get back above it, or do you stay below it? That's what I'd watch in the dollar today at 103. All right, we got I gotta head out of here. I'll go to the ticker form real quick. Pull that up real quick. If you guys could press the like button, that'd be great. Look at that. We got none in there. Good to know. That's perfect. All right, guys. So I'll go to the futures real quick. You guys can see, again, I would not go long into 4,200. It does not make sense, right? I would not try to long this market into 4,200. Yes, of course, there could be opportunity. Of course, there might be some trades to take into 4,200. Of course, I can't tell you that you can't make money, into 4,200. But, all right, it just isn't quite the optimal risk-reward trade. You're going to be sweaty. You're going to be unsure, right? I would just be careful of this 42 up here. I would really only look for strong long plays above that. If you're below that, just be a little bit cautious. CPI did not make that big of a move. And this is going to be very interesting today, guys. So this is, you're not really getting much. You're really not getting much on CPI right now. So this is going to be more of an intraday watch and react, in my opinion, here, because you are not seeing much of a movement right now. So best of luck, guys. Thank you for the 1,000 likes on the stream. That's awesome. Thank you guys for all the support. I hope you did learn something today. I hope you got a little bit of analysis on the individual stocks, but unfortunately on a day like today where you have such big economic data here in the morning, we try to go over as much as we can early morning. If you want to trade live with me, the link is down below in the description. I got to tell you, and I'm always 100% honest with you guys, this is not a very ideal situation right now in the pre-market for having any type of real clarity on the next move. This is not showing you anything. So today, it's a watch, react, look for those retests, look for previous day lows, previous day highs. It's the intraday type trade because as of right now, I don't see anything in the pre-market that's giving me any type of confirmation. So make sure to come in today being able to look at both sides because I think that's probably the key thing today. You got to be able to look at both sides here. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thank you, Ebo, again. 10 euros, 1,000 likes. Thank you, man. Thanks for being the hype man. Thanks for being supportive on the stream, guys. Have a great day. And I will see you tomorrow. Be safe out there. Happy Valentine's Day. Don't let today's trading make you grumpy at your Valentine's Day dinner. Your woman or man wouldn't like that. All right. See you guys later. Have a great day.